I find this utterly disloyal, Regina declared, her voice like glacial ice as she glared at me from behind her formidable mahogany desk. After all the opportunities Crestcorp Communications has provided you. I sat across from her, my grip tightening on my bag to still my trembling hands. The initial shock of being summoned to her office at the crack of dawn on a Tuesday had given way to a gnawing unease as the gravity of the situation sank in. Regina, I began, but she cut me off. Her perfectly manicured finger tapped a printed email. Spare me the excuses. I have proof you interviewed with Zenith Solutions last Thursday. You took a half day for a dental appointment, if I recall correctly. My name is Anya Petrova. I'm 31 years old, and I've poured 6 years of my professional life into Crestcorp Communications here in the vibrant city of Spokane. During my tenure, I've tripled my client portfolio, generated millions in revenue, and earned the unwavering respect of every major account on our roster. Yet, apparently, none of that mattered in this moment. Security will escort you to your desk. You may gather your personal belongings, but your building access is revoked, effective immediately. Regina's voice was devoid of emotion as she slid my company ID across the polished desk. I've already disabled your email access. The sheer injustice of it all seared through me. For 3 consecutive years, I had entered this very office, armed with meticulously crafted presentations showcasing my achievements, the prevailing market rates, salary comparisons, and my requests for a long overdue raise. 3 years of vague excuses about tight budget years, while Regina announced record-breaking profits at quarterly meetings. I inhaled deeply and rose to my feet, straightening my blazer. I understand. Regina seemed almost taken aback by my composed response. Perhaps she had anticipated tears or desperate pleas. Instead, I extended my hand across the desk. I wish you and Crestcorp continued success, I said, my voice steady despite the turmoil within. She hesitated for a fleeting moment before briefly shaking my hand, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. As the security guard hovered awkwardly by my desk while I packed my cherished family photos and 6 years' worth of desk plants into a cardboard box, an unexpected sense of calm washed over me. My colleagues cast concerned glances my way, but I offered them a reassuring smile. No drama, no histrionics, just quiet dignity. Stepping out of those glass doors for the last time, the warm April sunshine gracing my face, I experienced a profound realization. Regina believed she was punishing me. She couldn't have been more mistaken. As I placed the box in my car trunk, my phone chimed with a message from Julian Thorne, CEO of Zenith Solutions. Can we move our final discussion to today? 2 p.m.? A smile touched my lips. Regina had no inkling of what was on the horizon. It's astonishing how 6 years of your life can condense into a single cardboard box. As I drove home from Crestcorp, the box safely stowed, I reflected on the winding path that had led me to this pivotal moment. I had joined the company fresh out of graduate school, brimming with ambition and determination. Despite possessing a marketing degree from Washington State University, I had started in an entry-level role, handling coffee runs and meticulously organizing meeting notes. But I dedicated myself wholeheartedly to the work, staying late, volunteering for the challenging projects that others shunned, and cultivating strong relationships with clients deemed too demanding. Within 2 years, I was managing our mid-tier accounts. By my 4th year, I had been entrusted with Zenith Solutions, our most significant client, representing nearly 30% of Crestcorp's annual revenue. Julian Thorne, Zenith's CEO, had specifically requested me as their account manager after I had stepped in during a crisis when their previous representative dropped the ball. You possess an uncanny ability to anticipate our needs, he had told me. From that point forward, the partnership between our companies had flourished, with Zenith Solutions extending their contract and doubling their marketing budget with us. Regina had been delighted then. This is precisely the kind of initiative we value, she had declared, though that value never translated into my paycheck. My initial request for a raise had followed that success, armed with compelling performance metrics and revenue figures that spoke volumes. It's simply not in the budget this year, Regina had explained, her expression a practiced mask of regret. But your contribution is duly noted. I had accepted it then. The economic climate was uncertain, and I was still building my portfolio. However, the following year, after securing 3 new major clients and receiving an industry award for a groundbreaking campaign I had spearheaded, I was met with the same response. "Next year will be better," she had promised. "We just need to tighten our belts a little longer." Meanwhile, Regina arrived at work in a brand new luxury SUV, and the company leased an additional floor in our building for expansion. Yet I remained steadfast, clinging to the belief that dedication would eventually be rewarded. The third rejection came 6 months ago, hot on the heels of my successful negotiation of a 40% increase in Zenith Solutions' annual contract value. "Your performance is truly exceptional," Regina had acknowledged. "But we're investing heavily in infrastructure this year. Perhaps we can revisit this in the summer." Something within me had finally snapped. That very night, I updated my resume for the first time in 6 years, not out of anger or a desire for revenge, but out of a profound sense of self-worth. I was worth far more than empty promises and perpetual denial. I simply hadn't anticipated that Regina would discover my job search before I was prepared to tender my resignation. Back at my apartment, I set the cardboard box on my kitchen counter and gazed at it, the reality of what had transpired finally hitting me. I wasn't just between meetings or enjoying a day off. I was unemployed. The weight of it pressed down on my chest, momentarily making it difficult to draw breath. My phone rang, displaying my best friend Olivia's name. "I just heard," she said when I answered. "Thomas texted me. Are you okay?" Thomas was Crest Corp's IT specialist and Olivia's boyfriend. News traveled fast in the corporate world. "I'm processing," I replied honestly, sinking onto a kitchen stool. "It all happened so quickly." "It's utterly outrageous," Olivia exclaimed, her voice rising with indignation. "Everyone knows you're the only reason Zenith Solutions has remained loyal to Crest Corp for this long. Regina is simply intimidated because you're more competent at her job than she ever was." There was a kernel of truth in that. Regina had been the company's star account executive before transitioning into management. Many of us suspected she missed the accolades and client relationships, often inserting herself unnecessarily into my meetings with Zenith Solutions. "The worst part is how she did it," I said, a flash of anger coursing through me. As if I had committed some kind of corporate treason by exploring other opportunities after being denied advancement for 3 long years. "It's their loss," Olivia retorted firmly. "And honestly, Anya, perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. You've been grossly undervalued there for years." She was right. Of course, I had remained at Crest Corp out of loyalty to my clients and colleagues, not because it was the optimal choice for my career. But being dismissed in such a manner, escorted out by security as if I were a common criminal, that stung deeply. My phone beeped with an incoming call. "Julian Thorne. Olivia, I need to take this. It's Zenith." "Go for it. Call me after," she said before hanging up. I took a deep breath and answered. "Anya, I just learned about what happened at Crest Corp," Julian said, dispensing with pleasantries. "Are you available to come in today? I'd like to expedite our discussion." My heart leaped. "Yes, I can be there at 2 p.m., as you suggested." "Excellent. And Anya, don't dwell on what happened this morning. Sometimes these events have a way of working out for the best." After hanging up, I gazed at my reflection in the kitchen window. The woman staring back at me was not defeated. She was on the cusp of liberation. I showered and changed into my most sophisticated suit, the one I reserved for pitching prospective clients. As I applied my makeup, a strange serenity settled over me. Regina believed she had punished me by so abruptly terminating my employment, but perhaps she had inadvertently done me a great service. That morning had been humiliating, but it had also brought clarity. I had given Crest Corp my unwavering loyalty, boundless creativity, and countless unpaid overtime hours. In return, I had been undervalued and discarded. Whatever the future held, I knew one thing with absolute certainty. I would never again give my all to people who were blind to my worth. It was time to step into my power and claim my destiny. The Zenith Solutions headquarters occupied the top 3 floors of a gleaming state-of-the-art glass tower in the heart of downtown Spokane. In stark contrast to Crest Corp's dated office, with its beige walls and aging furniture, Zenith Solutions embraced modern design, open spaces fostering collaboration, and expansive walls of windows offering breathtaking mountain views. As I ascended to the 30th floor in the sleek elevator, I mentally rehearsed what I would say in my interview. I needed to address my sudden availability without sounding bitter or resentful towards Crest Corp. Professionalism was paramount, even when discussing uncomfortable situations. The elevator doors opened to reveal Julian Thorne himself, waiting in the reception area. "Anya," he greeted me warmly, extending his hand. "Thank you for coming on such short notice." Julian was in his early 50s, with distinguished salt and pepper hair and a reputation for being both brilliant and fair-minded, qualities I had come to deeply appreciate during our 3 years of working together. "I appreciate your flexibility, Julian," I replied, shaking his hand firmly. "It's been an unexpected day." "Let's talk in my office," he said, leading me through the bustling workspace. Several Zenith Solutions employees I recognized from our account work waved or nodded in acknowledgement as we passed. Julian's corner office, while modest compared to Regina's ostentatious showpiece, was infinitely more inviting, with comfortable seating arranged to facilitate open conversation rather than intimidation. "Coffee?" he offered. Once we were settled with steaming mugs, Julian got straight to the point. "I received a call from Regina Sanders this morning," he began. "She informed me that you would no longer be handling the Zenith Solutions account and that she would personally oversee our business until a replacement was assigned." I nodded, maintaining a neutral expression despite the surge of anger within. Of course, Regina would attempt to retain their most lucrative client herself. "What she doesn't know," Julian continued, "is that we had already been experiencing some concerns regarding our relationship with Crest Corp." This took me by surprise. "Concerns?" I echoed. The latest campaign results exceeded projections by an impressive 23%. "The results were indeed excellent," he agreed, "largely due to your exceptional work. However, we've observed some troubling changes at Crest Corp over the past year. Delayed responses, a noticeable decline in quality from everyone except you, and frankly, a sense that they're taking our business for granted." He set down his coffee mug and leaned forward, his gaze intense. 3 months ago, our board of directors suggested we explore alternative marketing partners. I resisted because of our strong relationship with you. You've consistently demonstrated an unparalleled understanding of our brand and our business needs, an understanding that transcends the typical client-agency dynamic. My mind raced. Was he saying what I thought he was saying? "When you reached out about potential opportunities here," Julian continued, "it felt like perfect timing. However, I want to be unequivocally clear about something. We were never attempting to poach you from Crest Corp. We respect professional boundaries far too much for that. We were fully prepared to wait until you had given proper notice." "I was planning to give 2 weeks' notice," I said, feeling it was important he knew that once I had a firm offer in hand. Julian smiled. "I believe you, Anya. Your unwavering professionalism is one of the key reasons we're having this conversation. Regina's actions this morning simply accelerated our timeline." He opened a folder on his desk and slid a document across to me. "This isn't an interview, Anya. It's a job offer. Director of Client Strategy. You would be responsible for building and leading a team to manage all our external marketing partnerships and agency relationships." I glanced down at the paper, and my breath hitched when I saw the salary figure. It was nearly double what I had been earning at Crest Corp, significantly more than I would have even dared to request in my most recent denied raise request. "This is incredibly generous," I managed to say. "It's the prevailing market rate for someone with your experience and proven track record of delivering exceptional results," Julian corrected me gently. "Sometimes it takes leaving a toxic situation to truly recognize your own worth." The offer letter sat on my kitchen table that evening, signed and ready to be returned the following day. I had asked Julian for the night to thoroughly review everything, though we both knew my answer would be a resounding yes. Still, taking the time to carefully consider major decisions was a matter of professional courtesy, one I extended even when the answer seemed self-evident. My phone had been buzzing incessantly all afternoon with texts from former colleagues at Crest Corp. Word of my abrupt dismissal had spread like wildfire, followed by a flurry of rumors about my meeting at Zenith Solutions. I had responded to a few close coworkers, but refrained from getting drawn into the office gossip mill. A text message from Thomas came through. Regina called an emergency meeting after you left. She told everyone you were terminated for breach of company loyalty, and that we should all remember that Crest Corp values loyalty above all else. The irony is palpable. I shook my head in weary resignation. Regina was attempting to make an example of me, but from Thomas's message, it seemed her strategy might be backfiring spectacularly. Another text arrived, this one from Jessica, the receptionist. She's been locked in her office, frantically making calls all afternoon. Looks incredibly stressed. I suspect someone is worried about losing Zenith Solutions. I didn't respond. There was no satisfaction to be derived from Regina's distress. Only a renewed sense of certainty that I had made the right decision to seek opportunities elsewhere. A company culture that espoused loyalty but offered nothing in return was not one I desired to be a part of any longer. My phone rang, displaying an unknown number. Curious, I answered. Anya Petrova? A woman's voice inquired. Speaking. This is Elaine Winters. I serve on the board of directors at Crest Corp Communications. My stomach tightened. Board members rarely involve themselves in employee matters. I understand there was an incident today regarding your employment. She continued. I would like to meet with you tomorrow to discuss it. It's possible that Regina acted prematurely in her decision. Ah, so that was the crux of the matter. Regina had fired her most valuable account manager without obtaining board approval, and now Zenith Solutions was potentially on the verge of withdrawing their business. Damage control. I appreciate the call, Miss Winters, but I have already accepted a position with another company, I said, keeping my tone respectful but firm. A pause. May I ask where? I don't believe it would be appropriate to disclose that information at this time. Another longer pause. Anya, if this is about compensation, I'm certain we can revisit those discussions. The board places a high value on your contributions to Crest Corp. The irony was almost comical. 3 years of meticulously documented, consistently rejected requests for fair compensation, and now suddenly the board valued my contributions. It's not solely about compensation, I replied honestly. It's about respect and recognizing an employee's worth before they're compelled to seek it elsewhere. There's a profound imbalance in that kind of dynamic. Perhaps we should discuss this in person, she pressed. Tomorrow morning? I considered it for a moment. While I had no intention of returning to Crest Corp, there was a certain appeal to gaining some closure. I can meet at 9 a.m., I agreed. But to be perfectly clear, I have signed an employment contract with another firm. I am not coming to negotiate a return. Understood, Elaine said, though her tone suggested a hint of disbelief. I will see you at our offices tomorrow. After hanging up, I poured myself a glass of wine and stepped out onto my apartment balcony. The spring evening was cool but pleasant, the city lights beginning to twinkle as dusk settled. Tomorrow would bring a conversation I hadn't anticipated, but perhaps it was necessary. A chance to articulate what had gone wrong at Crest Corp, not just for my own peace of mind, but also as valuable feedback that might benefit those who remained. My phone buzzed with an email notification from Julian Thorne. The subject line read, "Welcome to the team." Whatever transpired tomorrow, I knew one thing with unwavering certainty. I wasn't looking back. The Crest Corp reception area felt surreal to enter as a visitor. Jessica's eyes widened when she saw me, her professional smile faltering for a moment. Anya, you're here for the meeting with Miss Winters? That's correct, I confirmed, signing the visitor log. Another surreal moment in this unfolding drama. I'll let her know you've arrived, Jessica said, then lowered her voice conspiratorially. For what it's worth, everyone is talking about how incredibly wrong this was. You were the best of us. Her words warmed me. Thank you, Jessica. The elevator ride to the conference room provided me with a moment to compose myself. I had dressed professionally in a tailored navy suit, not to impress, but to remind myself and everyone else that I was approaching this meeting as an equal, not as a dismissed employee seeking redemption. Elaine Winters was already waiting when I arrived, a slim folder resting on the polished conference table before her. In her 60s, with striking silver hair styled in a precise bob, She exuded the poised confidence of someone accustomed to making multi-million-dollar decisions before breakfast. "Miss Petrova, thank you for coming," she said, rising to shake my hand. "Please have a seat." "I had expected Regina to join us," I remarked. But as Elaine closed the door, it became clear this would be a private conversation. "I've had an opportunity to thoroughly review your personnel file," Elaine began, opening the folder. 6 years of consistently excellent performance reviews, a steady pattern of growth in your account portfolio, and 3 formal requests for salary adjustment, all of which were denied. She looked up at me, her expression thoughtful. I was not previously aware of this pattern. This surprised me. I had always assumed that compensation decisions were reviewed at the board level. Major compensation changes, yes, but management typically has discretion within certain parameters, Elaine explained. Her tone suggested a subtle disapproval. "Regina has been operating with a considerable degree of autonomy." "I see," I replied, choosing my words carefully. "What I don't see," she continued, "is any documentation that adequately justifies your termination yesterday. There is no company policy prohibiting employees from interviewing with other organizations." I kept my response measured. The term used was disloyal. Elaine's eyebrow arched slightly. An interesting choice of words given the circumstances. She closed the folder. "Miss Petrova, I will be direct with you. The board would like to offer you reinstatement with the salary adjustment you requested in your last review, plus a 10% increase and the title of Senior Account Director." The offer was significantly more generous than anything Regina had ever been willing to consider, but it came 3 years and 1 humiliating dismissal too late. "That's a very generous offer, Ms. Winters," I acknowledged. "But as I mentioned on the phone, I have already accepted a position elsewhere." "At Zenith Solutions," Elaine stated, making it clear this was not a question. I neither confirmed nor denied, maintaining professional boundaries. "My new role commences on Monday." Elaine studied me for a long moment. "Regina is concerned that Zenith Solutions may reconsider their relationship with Crest Corp, given your departure." Ah, there it was. The real reason for this meeting, not genuine concern for how I had been treated, but fear of losing a major client. "That would be a question for Zenith Solutions," I replied diplomatically. "Indeed," Elaine nodded, seeming to appreciate my discretion. "One last question, if I may. What could Crest Corp have done differently to ensure you remained with the company?" The question caught me slightly off guard, but I welcomed the opportunity to provide some candid feedback. I paused for a moment to gather my thoughts. "They could have recognized my value before I was compelled to seek it elsewhere," I said simply. "Loyalty is a two-way street, Miss Winters. Crest Corp expected unwavering commitment from me while repeatedly demonstrating that I wasn't worth investing in. That creates a fundamentally unsustainable imbalance." Elaine nodded thoughtfully. "A fair assessment." She stood, extending her hand. "Thank you for your candor, Miss Petrova. Whatever path you choose to take, I wish you every success." Walking out of Crest Corp for the second and final time, I felt lighter than I had in years. This meeting hadn't been about offering me a second chance. It had been about giving me the opportunity to reclaim my narrative, to leave on my own terms, with my dignity and professional reputation intact. I had been granted an unexpected gift: closure. Monday morning arrived, accompanied by a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. My new position at Zenith Solutions officially began today, marking the start of a fresh chapter in my professional life. I arrived early, eager to settle into my new office, a real office, complete with a door and windows, a far cry from the cramped cubicle I had occupied at Crest Corp, despite my senior role. Julian had ensured that everything was prepared for my arrival, including a thoughtful welcome basket and a fully configured technology setup. At 9 a.m., he stopped by to introduce me to my new team, 5 exceptionally talented marketing specialists who would be reporting directly to me, working collaboratively to manage Zenith Solutions' diverse portfolio of agency relationships. The irony of the situation was not lost on me. I had gone from managing a single account to overseeing all of Zenith Solutions' marketing partnerships, including, presumably, whoever would now be handling the Crest Corp account. "Team, I'd like you to meet Anya Petrova, our new Director of Client Strategy," Julian announced. Many of you are already acquainted with her exceptional work from her time at Crestcorp Communications. We are incredibly fortunate to have her expertise in-house. After introductions and a brief team meeting to outline our immediate priorities, Julian invited me to join him in the main conference room. There, I found several members of Zenith Solutions' executive team gathered around the table. "Before you get completely immersed in your new role," Julian explained, "we wanted to get your insights on a rather important decision." The company's chief financial officer spoke up. "In light of recent developments, we're re-evaluating our relationship with Crestcorp Communications. Their contract is up for renewal next month. We would greatly value your perspective on this matter," added the chief marketing officer. "You possess an intimate understanding of our needs and have first-hand knowledge of Crestcorp's capabilities." I could have easily recommended terminating the relationship. It would have been a swift, satisfying act of revenge against Regina and a chance to deliver a significant financial blow to Crestcorp. The opportunity to do so was right there, laid out before me. No one would have questioned my judgment. Business relationships were severed all the time. But that wasn't who I was. Revenge might provide a fleeting moment of gratification, but professionalism and integrity would serve me far better in the long run. "I believe we should evaluate Crestcorp on the same objective criteria we would apply to any other potential partner," I said carefully. "Their work has generally been strong, but factors such as consistency, proactive account management, and a genuine commitment to our business needs will be critical considerations moving forward." The email was sent at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, precisely 1 week after Regina had terminated my employment at Crestcorp. I hadn't orchestrated the timing. It was simply when Zenith Solutions' executive team finalized their decision after a comprehensive review of proposals from 3 competing agencies. Julian had given me the courtesy of reviewing the email before it was sent, though I had recused myself from the final decision-making process to avoid any appearance of bias or impropriety. The message was professional and direct. After a careful evaluation of our evolving marketing needs, Zenith Solutions has made the decision to transition our account to Meridian Creative, effective immediately. This decision reflects our evolving brand strategy and our increasingly complex digital requirements. Anya Petrova, our new Director of Client Strategy, will oversee the transition process and serve as your primary point of contact during this time. We appreciate your past partnership and request that all relevant materials be transferred by the end of business on Friday. I could only imagine Regina's reaction upon receiving the news. The initial shock, followed by the dawning realization of the full ramifications of her actions. Not only had she lost me, but now she had also lost Zenith Solutions, a client representing nearly 30% of Crestcorp's annual revenue. And I would be the one managing the transition. The perfect professional revenge had fallen into my lap, without any need for me to orchestrate it. I hadn't needed to disparage Crestcorp or sabotage the relationship. The company's own shortcomings, thrown into sharp relief by my departure, had accomplished that for me. That afternoon, I received a LinkedIn connection request from Jessica, Crestcorp's receptionist, followed by a private message. "The office is in complete chaos. Regina has been in back-to-back emergency meetings all day. 3 other account managers have updated their resumes. Karma is swift." I didn't reply immediately. There was no need to gloat or insert myself into Crestcorp's internal affairs. Instead, I focused my energy on building my new team, streamlining our processes, and forging a path forward. Ultimately, I knew that true success and the quiet satisfaction that came with it was the most potent form of vindication. Later that evening, however, I did accept Jessica's connection request, accompanied by a simple message: "Thank you for your kindness during my time at Crestcorp. Wishing you all the best in the future." Taking the high road felt surprisingly empowering. My new position at Zenith Solutions brought a wealth of exciting challenges and invaluable opportunities, experiences that would have remained beyond my reach had I stayed at Crestcorp, waiting for a recognition that might never have materialized. In retrospect, I realized that Regina, in her short-sightedness, had inadvertently given me a precious gift, the push I needed to finally recognize my true worth and pursue my full potential. And so, in seeking retribution, I found something infinitely more valuable: unshakable self-respect and the courage to claim the success I truly deserved.